time for a first clash of disciplines. 2 disciplines, 2 paths. Choose your discipline and prove that it can set the fastest time.
We got 2 pre-production cars before they were out on sale, and we transformed them to 1,000 horsepower drift machines. And this is, until this day, it's a dream come true for me.
So I'm going to throw it back here, Ellie, to the first time that I actually met you. I had no idea about drifting. I'd just come off the back of making a TV show with Red Bull, and in 2018 I came to Mondello Park, which is the House of Drift in Ireland, and you were the first person to actually put me in a competition car, allowed me to start it, and then actually pull the sequential lever, which, you know, moving forward to today, I have one of those in my car because that feels absolutely sick doing that.
Yeah, this was the good old trusty E30 with the big V8 inside. I really love that car. And you might remember that actually the steering wheel was a little bit off-center, a little bit crooked. And when I was sitting inside, I actually had to sit like this because the roll cage was a little bit too close to my helmet. But the thing is, like, when we built the car, I felt it like, and I was like, oh, that doesn't feel right. 3 minutes in the car, gone. Next time in the car, I couldn't even realize that it was crooked, but the car is so much fun. And as you said, like, just feeling like when you press the clutch and put the first gear and you hear this clonk, you can already feel like, okay, this is business. This is serious business now.
I'm telling you guys, no feeling will ever be like when you sit into one of these cars and you clank it into first gear for the first time. You're like, oh, I feel like a proper racing car driver now.
Yeah.
And Connor, the first time I met you, I mean, you look totally different. You were 15 years old when I first met you, 21 now. Like, you've been in this game a long time, but also not on this planet a long time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. I joined the journey at quite a young age, but it's been an incredible journey. I've enjoyed every single moment of it. You know, meeting guys like you, during the career is probably the most important part of drifting. Is creating memories, doing cool things with everybody. And I think you can agree. You came in 2018 for your first drift event, but now the presenter of Drift Masters. It's quite crazy how fast stuff can change in this sport. But I think the connections what you build with everybody is quite insane. And same with Ellie. I looked up to this guy when I first came to our racetrack because I was a kid who raced karts, and you go to an event and you see a guy with a Red Bull helmet and you're like, oh, that guy must be doing something good. So for me, that was kind of the first moment in drifting when I seen Ellie and Joe. I was kind of had to step back and being like, damn, I wouldn't mind being a Red Bull athlete one day in this sport, and it's cool how far it progresses. So yeah, it's great moments for sure.
Ellie, do you remember the first time you met Connor?
Yes, first time was actually in Ireland. There was a national event on the docks.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yes, I was there. You and your brother were driving, Jack as well.
Yeah.
And I saw those guys going towards walls like with no hesitation, no nothing. Like they were no fear, nothing. And they were driving like hell, and I was like, wow. Because like in more like Central Europe where we were driving, there was like some walls sometimes, but mostly like one wall, a track or something. Most of the tracks didn't have walls, so I was not used to seeing that. In Ireland, it was basically walls all around on the docks, and those guys just hanging it in, and I was like, oh, they are proper. The next time I saw him was Drift Masters 2018. He started the event at the age of 14, he ended the event at the age of 15, and in the middle step of the podium. This was crazy, like beating James Dean back then in fourth,
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. This was like crazy, and yeah, well deserved. And I knew like there's a bright future ahead.
Would you say kind of that was a moment that really put you on the map?
Yeah, 100%. And it's kind of a funny story because I wasn't even supposed to be at that race. I was still supposed to drive at a national championship in Ireland and England, and my dad was still heavily involved in our program back then, and my parents were pushing to get us to that stage, but I guess to try to get paid from this sport and all what follows. But it was kind of there was a realization from my parents being like, oh, if you drive a national championship, it's actually going to cost more money than just putting you on the back of the truck. But my brother was going to be driving in Europe, so I went there, and Thursday practice, I kind of just, honestly, I felt like I just became a different driver that weekend. It was kind of crazy, and it was nuts. It was the most insane, I think, night, bar, probably winning a championship. It was definitely a night what kind of was like, wow, I don't even know how to explain this in words. And obviously looked up to James my whole life, and never at 14, 15 would I even thought that I would have got the chance to battle him, never mind, battle it out at one of the biggest competitions in Europe. So it was definitely the start of, I guess, putting my professional career on a platform.
Connor, I'm going to throw it to you here. I know from being young, like, you have that lack of fear when you're younger. Like, do you think it gave you that push to be able to, like, do you know what, that wall, I'm having it. I'm going in 60, no stress.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I kind of noticed that as I'm getting older. I'm trying not to. I'm not that old, but
Welcome.
yeah, I'm like kind of asking myself those questions. But you know, I think getting back to the point of like the future of the sport is like, it also comes back to you have more time. You know, when you're a 13, 14-year-old kid, you go to school, and you know, for me, my life was literally, you know, I guess at the turning point of my career actually was probably COVID, which was like actually a crazy time because I had nothing else to do. You know, I wasn't, you know, working from home. I wasn't doing anything, so I literally sat on my simulator, played until 4 a.m. every night, and woke up at 12 o'clock and got back on the simulator. So I guess, you know, it comes back to the you know, the generation now. And even for me, I think, you know, winning biggest championship in Europe last year, and probably the biggest tool, what I would say, of being able to do that is still the simulator. You know, it's laps and laps, and I see the guys coming up now, and it reminds me so much of myself when I was that age, because it also comes back to what you asked about having no fear, no worries. You know, you're just in a car and you're not questioning what's going wrong. And you know, to see like Manoa in the States, you know, that's like, you're kind of, even for me at 21, being like, oh God, we're struggling right now. You know, like it's cool to see, but you know, I think, as I said, it comes down to having the time to be able to do that. But for me, it's still one of the biggest training tools is gaming and simulation as much as possible, and I think that's what helps when you get out on the racetrack.
So we're going to jump into the fundamentals of drifting right now. So this is the most succinct explanation of this sport, which sometimes can be quite difficult to explain, but when you see it, it will all make total sense. So there's 4 main criteria. It's your speed, some say faster is better. Your style, this is your wow factor, how much angle you throw in, how aggressive your initiations are. Your line, this is absolutely imperative. When you're on a drift track, your line is the thing that is going to have you sitting on that top spot or not. And then it is your angle. Like obviously when you're driving a car at home, you've got somewhere around 35 degrees of angle. We're talking full lock here, guys, almost 90 degrees whilst you're out there on a track. Now, Ellie, it is quite difficult to understand, but once you actually see it, you're like, ah, that is it. That makes total sense.
Yeah, like I think if you see drifting for the first time, you should, in my eyes, start with the qualification where there's only one car on track, and then you actually can compare the runs to each other, and you will instantly see, okay, this guy really filled the full outer zone in the first turn, so he both wheels were in the zone all the way around. The other one maybe fell off halfway and stuff like that. So, and even like just a single car on track all of a sudden gets really exciting, because then you see, okay, all the guys have really a hard time to approach whatever, outer zone 5 very early on the wall, because they come so fast in and they just allowed to break down after the transition and stuff like that. And those little things, they make drifting so special. And like, as I said, like if you watch like 4 or 5 runs, you already will pick up where are the important points and pieces. And then obviously the fun starts when the battles go on. So yeah, this is even more spectacular.
Connor, don't you just love being asked that question? And you get asked that question, and everyone's like, what is drifting? And then everybody has their very own explanation. So I want to hear yours real quick. Elevator pitch. What is drifting, Connor?
I think to explain it, it's like you're in a battle, what you're trying to be the wildest driver ever, but to win, you need to be the most calculated driver. So it's like you're fighting against each other the whole time. So, you know, I think if you have been interested in drifting and you fully don't understand it, I think it's for sure worth taking the time to like fully look into it, because as a person who watches drifting, if you understand that, it's way more enjoyable, and it gives you a way better understanding of like, okay, that guy is doing something pretty impressive, or that guy is just sliding a car, you know. And I think the golden question, what for me, when my friends are always making jokes, being like, it's 3 pedals and a steering wheel and a handbrake, and it can't be that hard, you know. And it's like, I laugh because, you know, it's actually a good point, because it's a good conversation. You know, in my opinion, sliding a car isn't the hardest thing to do in the world, but sliding a car at 100 mile an hour with, you know, millimeters between a door, of trusting him and when he's going to brake, being able to read him, you know, you're doing stuff what reaction times needs to be absolutely insanely good. You're doing stuff you need to understand where grip is. You're feeling all different things, but you're going sideways. So, you know, a racing car driver will look and be like, oh, you've never felt what grip is in your life. And you're kind of like, okay, read 3 mile an hour at 100 mile an hour when you're a millimeter away from a door and see if you can not hit him.
So let's sort of talk about how your choice of vehicle reflects your personality. I mean, I've got a quote here from you, Ellie, actually.
Oh.
From brand new Lamborghini to old 190 Mercedes-Benz with Toyota Supra engines and Mazda MX-5 convertibles, if you can build it and it performs, make it yours and go. Can you tell us more about what it means to make it yours?
Yeah, like in drifting, I think this is one of the beauties, I would say, of the sport. There's not like a place where you go and just buy a drift car and it's finished and you just jump in and drive. Like it's very rare. Like I would say 95% of the teams here developed and built their car themselves. And so you can, while doing so, you can bring your personality into the build. Like some guys want to like drive maximum angle all the time. The other ones want to be super fast. The next one, I don't know, like something different. And this is the thing, like also engine-wise. Some guys like turbo straight six. You have a SR20 four-banger. The other ones want big V8s, natural aspirated, or with big turbos or something like that. And this is like where you really, as a whole team, you can create your own character, not only for you personally, but also translate it in your car, in your livery, in how you approach the events and everything. And this is, in my eyes, very interesting because like, if you look at like older motorsports, it's clear you want to have the fastest lap time. And there are so many approaches and everybody or any team knows how to approach it.
So let's talk about your car that you've got here this weekend.
Yeah.
Can you describe it for me? Like, what does it look like? What does it sound like? What's unique about this one?
So there are many things unique about this car. It's a BMW F22 2 Series. It's actually the first ever built F22 Eurofighter from HGK.
Cool.
There was this iconic video like 7 years ago. Like I watched it 100 times, full carbon Kevlar body kit. Just looking stunning. And actually what we took is basically the chassis and we put our drivetrain in, the S58 engine from the M4. We developed it further and now it has even more power, more response. And it's in a very small, light, nimble chassis. So this is very unique to me, to have a car that is really just like competition.
That's going to be so much fun. And just to explain to you guys at home, carbon Kevlar, I feel like, is the hero product of drifting. Because this, if you hit a wall, if you happen to make some contact with another competitor, this material just folds in and then pops back out again, which is so helpful during drifting, isn't it, Ellie?
Exactly. Because we are, especially here, for example, we run walls all around and you will hit them at some point. And if you have something that just smashes to pieces, it's just gone after the first lap. And the carbon Kevlar is, as you said, the hero.
Connor, your car, you've obviously had S15, you've had 180 back in the day, and then you switched into the GT86, which is the same as your brother's. Tell people about your car.
Yeah, mine is a GT86 chassis. I've been running this car for 4 seasons now. I would describe this car as, like, in my opinion, the most simplified kind of way of trying to achieve a car what can win events is in, like, there's nothing over-engineered. It's kind of a structure what's kind of worked for a long time. Toyota 2JZ, 1,000 brake horsepower, sequential gearbox, everything what's lived up to make 1,000 brake horsepower, you also can break it. So it has to have everything what is incredibly strong. And as Ellie touched on, we're trying to keep our cars as light as possible. I would say that I probably have one of the lightest cars on the chassis or on the grid. So, that's the achievement we're building the car. So it's small, nimble, can do, cool things. And there's some people love the chassis. Some people hate the chassis. Me personally, I love it. It's took a long time to get it to where we need it to be. But if I was to describe it, I would just say it's like a mini rocket and it does a good job and I enjoy driving it.
We've got to put it out there. Do you think 1,000 horsepower is now the benchmark power figure that you need in drifting?
I would say on a high level, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
It's crazy right now. Like, it doesn't really make much sense, but yeah, it is 1,000 brake horsepower. I remember the first year I drove in Drift Masters in 2018, I had a good 600 brake horsepower. Like,
same here.
That's with a good dyno sheet. Like, with a little bit of tire, slip on the dyno. Yeah, I made 600 brake horsepower, and it's like now you're like, if you turn up with 600 brake horsepower, you may as well just
go home. You
spent all your money to come here, and you may as well just sit in the grandstand with your car sitting pretty in the pits. So,
but it's crazy. Like, also, I started Drift Masters with 620 natural aspirated horsepower, and in Riga I was clutch kicking in 5th gear.
Yeah, I remember the same. I was the same as well. Yeah,
like coming
crazy.
Around the turn. Wow!
Yeah, there's nothing left. Yeah, it's good. It's cool to see that the sport is progressing, but I think it's exciting to see where it goes in the next 5 years, I guess.
Yeah, because that leads me into my next question, which was how have your needs evolved over time? And obviously at the very core of it, power has just increased, grip has increased. And like with that, you have to develop all of the drivetrain, because if you've got more power and more grip, it means there's more stress going through the car, which means more breakages. Like, Ellie, how has that manifested with your build?
It seems like you have some experience with that, huh?
Well, that's why I had to change the back end of my car, because I was
Yeah.
like, as the power increased, I remember clutch kicking it one day. I was like, I have no drive. And that happened maybe 2 or 3 times. And then I was like, right, we're going to have to.
Yeah,
have to
I've
strengthen this.
witnessed a few. I think I've seen you break 1 or 2.
Hey, look now.
I broke them
about
also.
me.
Don't worry, I broke many of them. I remember the first time I ever drove a turbo drift car, I went into the first corner, and that was with GTR shafts, so I actually broke good shafts.
Right.
And yeah, left the handbrake out left the clutch out with the handbrake still and broke 2 of them at the same time. And I came in and my brother was like, I've never seen anybody do that. I was like, well, now you have, so I feel you.
Well, like it's a constant game of improving like the builds. But yeah, Connor already mentioned like the recipe that you need nowadays is like around 1,000 horsepower sequential gearbox that can actually handle that power. Yeah, we run the Samsonas and we are quite happy with that. A big and a strong prop shaft, a big differential. Normally the thing is a quick change differential either from Winters or from Bulldog, and then the biggest shafts you can put in the car. And yeah, this is basically what you have, and then you just need to maintain it and check when there's play in the drive shafts, just change them before they break actually. And this is what makes it quite intensive to run a drift car on that power level, because it's not a question if something breaks, it's just when.
That's one of the nice things about playing in the game, because it's like, oh, I clutch kicked it, and it doesn't matter. We'll just go straight back to the start. If something broke, it doesn't matter. But there's nothing more devastating as you come and you initiate and you think you've got it all absolutely bang on, and then just kaboom.
Yeah, reset button is nice. It'll be nice in real life also.
Yeah.
Okay, so Connor, you gave us a description of drifting. You said driving in control, fully out of control. You're trying to be inch perfect while the car is completely out of control, which I feel like really captures the chaos and the adrenaline of the sport. Do you have anything to add to this, or do you think that's still true to this moment?
Yeah, 100%. I think, the biggest thing right now about drifting is how hard it is to win. It's like, even like 2-3 years ago for me, it was kind of, you would turn up to an event and you would be confident that you're going to have a good result, or you're, put in the work to have a good result. Now you turn up and it's like everybody has evolved so much and got like so much better. It's like trying to find what is the definition of on the limit. What's the definition of too much? It's like you're playing with fire every single lap, and even now in practice you have to go to that level, because if you're not ready to do it the minute the main competition starts, it's like, wow, I don't know what to do. So I think that quote kind of explains it pretty good, but I would probably improvise a little bit more of like actually how on the limit we are of out of control, but in control at the same time. So, I think gives a good an explanation, but I think for me it's like now as you watch live streams from 5 years ago to now, it's like, okay, we're pretty much close to being nothing left in the tank,
Yeah.
Ellie,
Like
would you agree with that?
I would put it in really simple words. It makes more sense to play roulette than try to win a Drift Masters event.
Yeah, I could play
Like the possibilities
You
are
are
higher.
a poet, my friend.
Like for sure.
So we've talked about the discipline of the sport. We've talked about the high moments, the low moments, but we're going to now focus back down on the cars themselves. So if I was to open up the bonnet, Ellie, what would I find?
Probably one of the most complicated engines in drifting nowadays.
I agree.
So the exact opposite to Connor's approach. We tried to take a current engine, a modern engine, take the modern technology that actually helps us to produce over 1,000 horsepower very reliably. And yeah, you see like way more wires, way more sensors, this, that, and so on. And it's very complex to get it to run. But once it's running, for us at least, touch wood, it was really reliable for the past 3.5, almost 4 years now.
Big turbo, 2 turbos, 1 turbo, what are we looking at here?
One single turbo, now also on display, because on our M4s it's a low mount, so you can't see it. But now in the F22 it's a top mount, so you can see a big turbo hanging there on the engine. And this, in my eyes, very beautiful modern engine.
Nice. Connor?
Yeah, I think that's what's exciting about when you pop the hood of a drift car. It's like 1,000 brake horsepower, so you have to have the tools to make 1,000 brake horsepower. In my opinion, as a fan of drifting, I would explain it: huge turbo, shiny parts everywhere. It's like going through like a car show and be like, damn, that engine is cool, but we're actually using those engines in a race car, which is quite sick. So yeah, for me it's quite a simple setup. We just try to keep everything, it's a winning platform for many years in drifting. I think
2JZ
two JZ has been the engine what a lot of people have turned to, I guess. And yeah, some people obviously have different opinions about engines, but for me, yeah, I think it's a big turbo, shiny parts, makes lots of power, cool noises, and I think it's kind of just a simple package what works perfect.
So you've got the 2JZ and then also the BMW out there, but if you could describe your ultimate dream machine, it can be a car, it can be a bike, it can be a plane, what would it be? Tell me about, let's just really describe it to the people that are sat playing the game right now and listening. I want colors, I want sounds, I want everything.
Ooh, that's a good one. I would have two, if you don't mind.
Fine.
So first one is obviously G87 M2, the current M2.
Class.
With the S58 in, very lightweight, ready for competition to go on walls, take the war that is there. This is definitely the next thing also on our map. And the other one would be like a kind of a funny one, very old Toyota Starlet, like hatchback, rear-wheel driven. I had the chance to be in Jamaica last year and judge a Red Bull Car Park Drift event, and I saw like 4 or 5 of those, and those look so nice. And I somehow have a sweet spot for hatchbacks anyways, and either put a small 4-banger in with a turbo, or maybe even a very small natural aspirated V8. I think this would be a really fun car to drive. Yeah.
Connor, to you?
Yeah, mine are kind of, I have retro one for sure as well, which is I think an Irish classic, a Ford Mark II Escort, but I would build it to be the wildest drift car ever. Like, anything I could do to it, I would do to it. Just body panels everywhere, kind of just crazy. Not as a competition car, but just more just something what's iconic and kind of, I guess, it has a little bit of history as well. You know, Ford Mark II Escort is a famous car in Irish rallying, and always wanted to do one as a drift car. And then I've also kind of have another one, which is an interesting one, but a Porsche GT3 RS. I would love one. It's also my dream road car, but I would love one as just a kind of a car where it kind of like goes against people's opinions of like, it's such a beautiful car, and I would just be like, I would love to take that thing and just wreck it off a wall. You know, not wreck it off a wall, but you know what I mean. Like have it as in you can just go out like and blow a taillight off it. Everybody's crying in the grandstand, being like, it's a Porsche GT3 RS. So
that would be me.
Yeah, also me as well on the other side. But I think for sure it's an interesting one. But
Becky, your turn.
I think if I was to take like a chassis and develop a chassis of like make.
Boys and girls, I'm super excited because we get to see the first clash of motorsports. We're staying in the dirt, and you know the first opponent because we already saw it in action, the Puma. But for the second, you'll have to listen to my last interview.
Hi, I'm Robbie Madison. I'm freestyle motocross rider. I've done a lot of cool stunts.
As a champion athlete and stunt performer, what does flirting with the limit mean for you?
To me, flirting with the limit is like being in the moment. When you're able to flirt with the limit, you're operating at the full maximum potential that you're able to operate. That's the pinnacle, right? That's peak performance.
And you guys, are you ready to flirt with the limits? Team Hansen or Team Madison? Which side are you on? Ford Puma. Now you know better than anyone what this machine is capable of. You're witnessing a real speed clash. The first one to the finish is the winner. Right now, the bike and the car are on the same course, but to keep things fair, they'll diverge onto separate routes, designed to let each vehicle work to its full potential. The course is about to split. Straight ahead for the car, right for the motorcycle.
time. She's much better at jumping. But the Puma can deal with asphalt and is more reliable on straights. Both have their strong points. Which one will exploit theirs best? No matter the vehicle, dirt requires reflexes, but above all, instinct. Making the right choices quickly is the key to surviving the race. MOTORFEST. We've got our answer, boys and girls.
The dirt chapter is finished. We're moving on to asphalt vehicles. We start quietly, and I use big quotation marks, with a little warm-up ride on a racing bike.
Podcast studio. Listen to this, folks.
What you're hearing is the sound of the KTM RC16 2022 version, and that's my guess for today. 4 cylinders, 1,000 cubic centimeters, 250 horsepower for just 346 pounds. Take a look at this dynamic marvel and get ready to drive in the time attack. Don't forget, when you're driving along the coast of Maui or the streets of Honolulu, you can listen to all the podcast episodes on the Sounds of Red Bull track list. Now, time to unleash the moto racing power.
Boys and girls, this event can seem simple, but it's crucial for our driver. A time attack to test whether the driver can handle the next clash of disciplines. And no lie, it's definitely not safe. The RC16 is a little marvel. We had to wait until 2017 to see the RB KTM factory join the competition. The brand has won everything in other competitions, so it was time to see them take on moto racing. Or roll the dice with something unknown. It's an agonizing decision.